Welcome to the Odds Checker Premier League preview panel, where we go through all 10 games over the weekend and give you our thoughts about what we think will happen. Now, no, George is not here, as you can probably tell. He's off gallivanting in France, watching some golf tournament. I don't know what that is. Instead, I'm going to take the reins, and I'm joined by two of the best and brightest in Odds Checker. To our right, we've got Teague, the juggernaut of the social media system that we own, and to our left, we've got Alex, the best thing to come out of Watford since forever, really. So, we are going to start with the early kickoff on Saturday. West Ham against, under pressure, Manchester United. I'll start to my right. What do you think will happen?
I actually think West Ham or draw is the bet here, because they were very unlucky with Chelsea. They were Yarmolenko sitter away from 3 points in that game, so they've got Arnautovic back. United haven't looked good all season, really, so I'm going to go for West Ham or draw, and if I was going to go for a score, I'd go Desmond.
Very good. To be honest, I completely agree with Teague, actually. I'm probably not less so on the goals. I think terrible time to play West Ham. I think even beating Macclesfield 8-0 in the League Cup, sort of just giving a nice vibe around the place. Now, I don't want to get carried away. I still think they're not the best team, but that new front three, Felipe Anderson, I said last week, very, very impressed with him. Arnautovic back, I think they can nick this 1-0. Although I would say United have found some solace away from home and sort of getting away from that Old Trafford crowd. They've been better, but yeah, 1-0 West Ham.
Yeah, things change very quickly in football. West Ham were in crisis a couple of weeks ago, having lost their first 4 games. Now they're the team not to play in the league. So I'm actually going to go for a United win, 1-0. Mourinho seems to always work his way out of these United troubles that they seem to get into all the time. And I think we're no different. They're savvy, they're strong, they're competitive. And West Ham at home, just like United away, United at home, there's a lot of pressure on them. The fans are expectant. And I think United will sneak it. Next up, we've got quite an intriguing looking tie featuring Watford. They travel to Arsenal, who have won 4 on the spin now. So, obviously, our resident Watford fan, I'll start with you, Alex. How do you think it will plan out?
I'm looking forward to this one, as any Watford fan would have going to the Emirates at the weekend. We've won 3 of our last 6 against Arsenal, 2 of those at the Emirates. We were very wasteful last weekend. I thought we looked like quite an accomplished team, even in the League Cup against Spurs, a sort of far more weakened Watford team than it was a Spurs team. Got a draw there. I think Petr Cech, although Arsenal have won 4 on the spin, Petr Cech's had faced the 3rd most saves in the league. So he's getting quite exposed by the Arsenal defence. I do like Lacazette and I do like Aubameyang. I think it could be a Desmond to all.
Ooh. Right, well, obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm hoping, so I think Watford won this fixture 2-1 both times last season, so that's a bit worrying. We've been very slow starters in the league. But I think Watford will go 1 up, probably through a mistake from Mustafi. But I think we're going to show some cojones and come back in the second half. We've been a second half team, so I think Arsenal to win from behind's a bet.
Interesting. Well, Watford are 4-1 to draw and 6-1 to win, which I think is quite a good price as well. Watford looked obviously very impressive this season. Arsenal, as you said, faced so many shots. Their 2 centre-backs haven't gelled at all yet, and Cech is certainly been overworked since he's joined Arsenal, to be fair. And I'm toing and throwing on this. I think Arsenal win one day, then Watford win. I'm going to go for a draw, I think. There'll be 2 competitive teams. Yeah, I'm going to sit on the fence, I think. It's too close to call. I think there will be goals, and I could probably see a Desmond as well.
Very good.
Yeah, I can see a Desmond as well.
Get on the correct score.
Yeah.
Yes. Next up, we go up to Liverpool, where Everton welcome Fulham in another quite interesting looking tie. I think Fulham will be entertainers this season, both going forward and at the back as well. To my right, how do you think this will pan out?
Yeah, well, like you said, Fulham games usually have goals. Mitrovic is on fire, as they sing, but I do think Everton will win this. With Richarlison back, he was in blinding form at the start of the season, even got 2 for Brazil. So Ascension obviously held him back, couldn't play, but I think he looked really bright against Arsenal last week, because Cech made some good saves, we spoke about that. So I think Richarlison any time's the bet, and also Everton to win and both teams to score.
Interesting.
Very nice. Well, I'm inclined to agree with Teague. Obviously, I'm still a bit bitter about Richarlison leaving. But I think you have to look at Everton's home form here for the clues. They drew to Huddersfield, they lost to West Ham. The fans at Goodison, they're going to be on their back. I think there's a bit of a lot of anticipation around Marco Silva. There was a lot of build-up to him coming, particularly the way he left Watford last season. And I'm not sure he's really quite delivered. I completely agree. Mitrovic, Fulham were sparse against Watford and he still managed to score and could have scored another. They scored 2 away at Brighton. They could do the same here. I think they win this 2-1, and I think Marco Silva Could be an interesting bet for first manager to go this season.
Ooh.
Yeah, Everton have flattered to deceive, I'd say, so far this season. How do you guys think they'll do? Where do you think they'll finish?
I think Wolves are going to tie up 7th, and we'll come on to that.
Okay.
And I think, it's hard to say at the moment. The form doesn't look good. I think they do have the squad, and I think that in January they won't be scared to invest. They haven't been scared to do so, particularly if they stick with Silva, because they need results. They need to come in the top 10.
I'd still expect Everton to get 7th, I think.
I'm not so sure they will finish 7th. I think they definitely flattered to deceive. I think having a non-goal scoring striker is a big, big worry for them. They can't keep relying on Richarlison,
Indeed.
even Walcott. Cenk Tosun clearly hasn't acclimatised this season at all. He was actually quite good last season.
Yeah.
When he joined us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed with him. I thought he'd actually get off to a bit of a flyer this year, but they're going to have to buy a striker.
Indeed.
It's Calvert-Lewin. He's still young. He's still quite raw. Having said that, I'm going to back an Everton win over the weekend. Fulham are a funny team. I can't put my finger on them. And it's just that new defence they bought. They keep chopping and changing. Left back, Joe Bryan one week, Sessegnon the other week, and the fans don't like Sessegnon playing there. Different centre-backs, and I just think it will take time for them to properly settle. So I'm going to say 2 on Everton, but it'll be a competitive and probably quite an exciting game as well.
I would say I think Tom Kearney's back this weekend for Fulham, which could give them a slightly more attacking flair. He's certainly back in first team training. I'm not sure whether he'll start, but if he does, it could be interesting, particularly with that Everton defence, which is rickety.
Yeah, the captain coming back will be a big, big boost for Fulham indeed. Next we go to the Premier League basement boys, where Huddersfield welcome Tottenham. Now Huddersfield are showing no signs of being able to stay up this season whatsoever. Are they going to be able to change that against Tottenham?
No, I think they've been poor all season. I can't see any quality in their side at all. And I think they're going down. And Spurs, they need a win. And they've actually been right away from home this year. They've got obviously won at Old Trafford. So I think Spurs first win to 0.
Can't really argue with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the worst team in the division here. Huddersfield, again, they've still failed to register more than a single goal on the expected goals in any game this year. I keep going on about it, but it's just pants. Spurs are going back to winning ways here. They've got that sort of attacking five of Eriksen, Ali, Morrison and Kane that are all fit and firing. And 3-0. 3-0 to Spurs, very comfortable.
Yeah, I think pants is probably the right term to use for Huddersfield, unfortunately. Yeah, I think win to 0 is probably the best bet. Mounier and Dequatre are not strikers that should keep in the Premier League. I don't know how they stayed up last year, to be honest.
Should be in the Premier League, to be honest.
Well, next season might be...
I think there's no Huddersfield match.
Tottenham obviously got back to winning ways against Brighton. They're the better side, and Huddersfield are a worse team than Brighton, in my unbiased opinion. And it will be I'm going to say 2-0 Tottenham. Comfortable as you like. Next, and I'm not sure I want to talk about this game. Brighton, my team, travel to Man City, the reigning Premier League champions, of course. I'll start with Alex. How many goals will City score?
It's a good question. Brighton just didn't get going at Spurs till really late on in the game. I don't think they'll be given the same courtesy here at the Etihad. I think it'd be comfortable for City, although City had a bad start in the Champions League, and I don't know if you've watched the slightly cringe All or Nothing documentary, but there's a lot of stress on the Champions League. Having lost that opening game, they go to Tottenham on Tuesday night. They'll need to win that. I'm sure they've got the squad depth to deal with it. But Brighton will get at Anfield. It sort of gives me a slightly niggle. It will only be 3-0, and I think 3-0 City.
I think it will be a case of how many. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, Aguero got one last week. He gets taken off for 60 minutes all the time, but he was rested midweek. So I think I'm looking at Aguero brace this week. And there's no Mendy again this week, am I right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So I think Pep likes to go with Sane on the left, and he's normally a quick starter. Gets a lot of start last season. He got in a lot of goals, especially in my fantasy team. So I think Sane first goal could also be a good option.
So Aguero scored 14 and 10, last 10 at the Etihad. So I like that. I like your angle there.
I'm going to sign. Does neither of you fancy 33-1 for Brighton?
No.
Is that what they are?
33-1.
I mean,
Don't see that very often in the Premier League.
Yeah, you don't see that very often at all.
Yeah.
Murray penalty.
I'd take a Murray penalty. Yeah. You mentioned obviously Brighton's performance at Anfield, which shocked me. They only lost 1-0, and that was due to a mistake at the back as well, which is quite commendable, really. Having said that, City I think they're going to take Brighton apart. They've not been at the best this season, and they're only going to get better. We saw the Huddersfield game. Brighton won't be as open as that, but at the same time, going forward, there's zero penetration. So I'm going to say 3-0 to Manchester City, and it's a free hit, chalk it off. Next, Newcastle Leicester. How are we looking for this one?
Well, Newcastle haven't won this season, have they? So it's going to be a difficult one. But have you seen all the talk this week in TalkSport saying, "Are Newcastle a big club? Is it a big city?"
Yeah,
I think this is really going to fire up the fans tomorrow. Sorry, and I can see a 1-0 Newcastle win, ground out. Leicester have been all right, but they haven't impressed me as much as I thought they would. So I think Newcastle could nick it in a low-scoring game.
I completely agree with the sort of where Rafa goes, we go impact on Newcastle fans. Completely disagree with the scoreline. Leicester games, 83% of Leicester games return over 2.5 goals, and the same percentage of both teams to score. Newcastle 67% for those two stats. That says goals. I know Newcastle sort of a bit paltry up front, but it was 3-2 last year to Leicester. I think it'd be 3-1 this year. Really impressive, James Maddison.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he needs to get an England call up. Leicester win this, but I'm still unsure about them. I just think Newcastle are poor.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time until Maddison gets his call up, I feel. The whole TalkSport thing about Newcastle being a big club and big city is a pointless conversation.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Exactly.
No Rondon, so that means I think Hoslu comes back, Newcastle's star, and there's something to help them win this game. They've had a tough start to the season, of course, played a lot of the big teams already, come out of them relatively well with a lot of respect, but 0 points. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Puel's Leicester, for me, aren't the most inspiring team, as many people say, and nor are Newcastle. It'll be a 1-1 draw.
Puel will be there by Christmas?
Sorry?
Do you think Puel will be there by Christmas?
Yes, I think he will be. They're too good to drop too many points. Next, not really a surprise package, because everyone thought they'd do really well. Yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers welcome Southampton to Molineux. Southampton struggled last season. They're not looking particularly great this season. How will they fare against Wolves?
I think the key to this one is that Wolves are just so good at the back. They've got the 7th best defence in the league statistically in terms of expected goals conceded behind the top 6. And they get to really click up front. I'm still unsure about Jimenez. But Southampton, I don't like Mark Hughes. I just don't really... the whole thing is just a bit drab. I'm not really sure.
It doesn't look like a fun place to play football, does
No,
it?
not really. And it's not going to be much fun at Molineux this weekend. I think Wolves win this 2-0 and just continue on their merry way. I think they showed a lot of credentials at United last week. That was a tough game. They got a point there. They look just hard to beat. I think Molineux will be a really tough place to go for a lot of the big sides, and Southampton don't make it into that category. They get pummeled here.
Yeah, the likes of Patricio, Cody, Bolly, they're excellent Premier League players, and there won't be any problems this season whatsoever. How are we thinking?
I agree with you that Wolves tight at the back, and also their performances against, say, City, United, they went toe to toe with them. It weren't like they were just playing for that draw. Like against City, I thought they were unlucky to even win the game. Yeah. But I think against the smaller sides that won't come out and attack them and leave spaces for Helder Costa, Adama Traore, I think they might struggle a little bit with if they play the 5 at the back and they're just looking for that counter. I don't think, because their striker Raul, I know he's got a couple of goals, but I've not really been that impressed by him. So I actually think Southampton could get a clean sheet here, and I think I'm going for 0-0.
They'd probably take a 0-0.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. 2-0 to Wolves. I think they look well organised. Not many changes either Nuno's made. Consistent team selection all the time. We know about Southampton's lack of goals. I think Shane Long might be injured for this, but Gabbiadini's not scoring. Austin in and out of the team, and Danny Ings, you can't rely on him to get 20 goals a season, 15 to keep a team up comfortably. So yeah, Wolves got too much quality. Gian Martino, he's been incredible this season, alongside Neves, and an exciting team to watch. Indeed, exciting times at Wolves. Now, the big game of the weekend. No, not Cardiff Burnley. Chelsea versus Liverpool, a top of the table clash. Is it too early to be a 6-pointer? I'm not so sure. Teague, how does this go?
Well, obviously they played in the week, but there was a lot. Liverpool were by far the better side, I thought, throughout the game. But then, as soon as David Luiz and Hazard came on, they were a different side. Luiz brought that leadership. Christensen was looking dodgy at the back. He was really good last season, but I think since he gave away that goal against Barcelona, he's not been the same player. But we think with Luiz back in the team, Hazard back in the team, at the Bridge, I don't think Liverpool will win. But with the way they're playing, I can just see a score draw here. I don't think either of them will. I think both of them will take the draw, and I see them both scoring. So I think score draw is definitely the bet.
I think it's not a 6-pointer unless Liverpool win, which I think they will. I think that it's easy to get carried away by the quality of that Hazard goal, and it was an excellent goal. I completely agree. I think Liverpool just a better team. Assuming Van Dijk's fit, he comes back in. Alisson comes back in. I mean, Alberto Moreno, I don't know what he's doing as a professional footballer. It's mad.
He won't play though, will he?
Obviously not, exactly. Him not being in the team, you bring back Robertson and Trent, I think that adds real solidity. Obviously, Liverpool's front three. I think Chelsea at the back are extremely vulnerable. I think it will be a close game. I think Hazard will have sent shockwaves into that Liverpool side. I think Liverpool win this 2-1 though, and continue to push on, but City will win the title.
I was quite surprised that Liverpool were favourites at the Bridge. Do you think they should be?
I don't think so.
No.
I think they should.
Rookies aren't really sure, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's even all round.
I think you take out the recency bias of the game in the week. I mean, Liverpool battered Spurs at Wembley. I mean, bear in mind, this is a Liverpool team. They got 1 point in the top 6 away last year. They've already beaten that total. They battered Spurs. If they don't, they battered PSG. I know that was at home, but I think favourites is justifiable. Take Hazard out of the Chelsea team. I'm not sure there's much going on there.
Hazard is in the team though.
Yeah,
he is.
And
indeed.
he's created that fear factor amongst the ranks, as you mentioned. It's a funny thing in League Cup, of course. Managers make sweeping changes to both sides. People say it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't, but it's the momentum that Chelsea now have against Liverpool, and the fans know it. Both sets of fans know it. I don't know how to stick my neck out with this one. I think it'll be 1-1 draw. Chelsea, for me, I think should be slight favourites at the Bridge. Especially if Van Dijk doesn't play. He's a current doubt.
Yeah, I think he's a big one.
Exactly. So if you're watching this as teams come out and we've said, Van Dijk's not playing, he is. Apologies, but he's an absolute linchpin of that defence. Yeah. And if he doesn't play, I think Chelsea will win. And if he does, I think there'll be a draw. To Super Sunday we go.
Oh,
Rub your hands together, gentlemen.
Oh,
Cardiff, welcome. Sean Dyche's Burnley to the Cardiff City Stadium in what could be a massive game in the relegation battle already. What is going to happen?
Well, I think Sky played a blinder here, because if there was any other reason to watch not watch the Ryder Cup, I think this sort of a nail in the coffin to get everyone turned over to the golf. I think it says a lot about Cardiff that their biggest goal threat is with their Sol Bamba and Sean Morrison. I think Bobby Reid and Josh Murphy are like championship level players, which is fine, that's what they are, but I don't know why. They seem to have bought a team for the championship. As a Watford fan, obviously, I love seeing Matej Vydra amongst the goals last weekend in the number 10 role that he did so well with Watford. Him in behind Vokes, I think they caused problems. It could be 1-1 though. I think Neil Warnock has to target this game. Yeah. Burnley can't get carried away by a 4-0 win at Bournemouth, where Bournemouth are unlucky. 1-1 piss poor game.
Yeah, again, like Huddersfield, I can't see Cardiff staying up at all. I'm not looking forward to this game at all. I don't know if I'll even watch it. But Burnley put 4 past, was it last week? Bournemouth last week. So, I mean, that was out of the blue. But I can't see them doing it again. I can't see them being like that again. I think it's going to be a drab match. I think 0-0, 1-1, looking at something like that.
You can probably sense the enthusiasm bursting through your screens there.
Yeah.
So it is one of the purists, admittedly. Bournemouth were unlucky, I thought, against Burnley. At 2-0, they probably should have equalised. Joe Hart made a couple of good saves again.
Where's he got his form from?
He's 75 England caps. He doesn't lose it forever, but he's made the most saves in the league as well. So that's an important thing for Burnley, because their defence is nowhere near as good as last year. It's very strange, because the whole Europa League excuse is probably starting to wane now a little bit. I think it'll be 0-0. It'll be similar to the game that Cardiff played at Huddersfield, when Huddersfield down to 10 men, and Cardiff were actually the dominant team for most of the game. They just couldn't crack them. Burnley do know how to withstand pressure. I think they'll be second best on the day for me. But Cardiff are a bit toothless, as you said. Bobby Reid he's not really a Warnock player, is he? He's a strange signing. They got Zahor, who doesn't really do it for me either. So 0-0. Good point for Burnley. I don't know. Monday Night Football, South Coast time. Bournemouth welcome Crystal Palace to the Vitality. How do you think this one will pan out, Alex?
I think this is going to be a cracker. I'm looking forward to this. Definitely goals. This could be another Desmond. I think the key to Palace is obviously Zaha, but there's just something about night games that seems to bring something out of Andros Townsend that I haven't seen before. I'm looking forward to that. I think Bournemouth, I hate to say it, I don't like Bournemouth, but they're exciting. Ryan Fraser, Wilson and King.
I don't like Bournemouth.
Because of the promotion race in 2015, all that pathetic stuff. Anyway, we should have won the title, right? Well, Callum Wilson, he should have had about 6 more goals than he has. I mean, that's what I keep telling my fantasy team anyway when I keep playing him. But 2-2 Palace. They're so up and down. I don't know what to make of them. Bournemouth, bit of a blip last week, back in front of the home fans. Both of them and get a point here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an exciting game. Like you said, they both had blips. What was it? Palace lost at home to Southampton 2-0,
Yeah.
and Bournemouth obviously lost 4-0 to Burnley. But they both got bags of attacking talent. Fraser, King, Wilson have all started in like fine form, and Zaha and Townsend always have the ability to do something out of nothing. So I like you. I think goals. I'm actually going to go for 3-2 Bournemouth, and also Bournemouth both teams to score, because it could even be 4-3.
Interesting. Yeah, I think a Bournemouth win of both teams to score is a great bet, to be honest. You've already alluded to their attacking prowess. We know that Palace have been a bit stingy up front this season. Only scored 4, which will probably worry Roy Hodgson. Benteke, we all know about him. Saul misfiring off the bench. But they got Zaha, who's, pains me to say it, is a top 6 player. And he will give them an X factor. And Josh Townsend getting on the left as well, cutting in. He'll cause problems for Bournemouth. And Bournemouth do concede goals as well, quite a few of them.
Yeah,
it's up to Palace to exploit that. But I'm going to go for 2-1 Bournemouth. I've been really impressed with them this season. I'm like you, I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but you can't really begrudge Eddie Howe and the job he's done. 4 seasons out in the Premier League.
They keep surprising me.
Every season.
I didn't think they were going to come out and do this, and then suddenly I'm looking at the results and I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But if they keep scoring goals...
They're the sort of team that everyone writes off at the start of the season. They stay up every season quite handily, really.
Yeah.
And fair play to Eddie Howe and the team. So there we have it. We've raced through all 10 Premier League fixtures for this weekend, giving you our expert predictions. So after the weekend, do watch this back and see how clever or stupid we all are. For any more interesting videos from Odds Checker, any more funky content, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, enjoy the matches.